Hey folks, Sender Spacer here, or Isaac, or whatever you want to call me. I am starting a manga anime kind of weeb channel because that's my interest, so just wanted to kind of get that out there and get that going. I'm going to start off with a video of my collection of all my manga and light novels so far. It's very modest. I just started really reading a lot of that stuff, or collecting even started this year. Kind of after the Attack on Titan final season, the part 1, I was like, I can't wait until the ending. I probably will have to wait to the ending because I got so much other stuff to read. In the meantime, I kind of started this whole spending spree on light novels and manga and all sorts of stuff. And eventually, I kind of ended up with a few shelves of stuff. So it's not a very big collection, probably not impressive or that interesting if you're looking for something that's a little bit more inspired. But I think it's pretty cool, and I want to kind of chronicle my journey from like a starting point where I think I'll get a lot more after this point. So you might notice that the shelf in the video that I'm going to show you is actually very different than the one in the video that's going to show up on here. I did do a collection video that hasn't gone up yet, and so the shelf isn't exactly the same. You see it right over here, but maybe you'll spy some of the stuff. Spoilers in the collection video, probably not, but potentially. So that's why it looks a little bit different, just to let you know. First video, so let me know if you have any comments or suggestions or things you'd like to see me do. So this is kind of an overview of my whole shelving unit I have going on right now. You can see my Persona figures and my Pikachu being propped up by Persona figures. Actually, the Pikachu falls off later in the video, leading some weird edits. Just a fun fact there. These, I think, is my current collection of Attack on Titan Colossal Edition. I think it's all up to date. I really like the large, glossy, oversized stuff. I know a lot of people don't like it because they look damaged. I don't really care too much of damage. Obviously, I don't want things to look jacked up, but I really am much more interested in the glossy pages and the large font. I think it helps bring the whole thing to life faster because I really like the art, actually. I have the first 2 volumes of the Deluxe edition of Berserk. Not really understanding so far why people call it a classic. I can see why it's really inspirational in terms of like the dark fantasy genre, but I'm not seeing what makes it a great story individually. But I'm looking forward, but I still enjoy it a lot, so I'm looking forward to reading more of those. Next one is Call of the Night. I really like this one. It's actually one of my favorite ones. It's an ongoing series right now. It's kind of about a kid who goes out, has insomnia, walks the streets, finds some weird people and weird stuff, including vampires. And actually, it's just kind of a good vibes manga, which I'm kind of getting more and more into. I highly recommend it if you want something kind of new, something I don't really see a lot of people talking about. So Call of the Night. It's pretty good. Next up is Chainsaw Man. This is kind of everyone knows about Chainsaw Man, so I don't really want to talk a lot about it. I've actually read everything on the Shonen app, the digital app. I kind of collect them just for fun because I do like Chainsaw Man a lot. I think it's a bit overrated, but I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily. I just think, I think people talk a lot about Chainsaw Man, where I think there are some better stuff out there, but I do think it's quite good, honestly. Classroom of the Elite. This is a light novel series. I really like. This is actually one of my favorite, probably my favorite light novel series I'm reading right now. Again, I don't show the covers of everything here. It would take up much longer. It's very popular anime, kind of this high stress, high stakes classroom environment. Private academy environment, I would say. I really like it. I think it's fantastic. I think I'm up to date. I'm missing, I think, 4.5 or 5.5, and I'm just kind of waiting on 9 and all the others to come out. Next up is Dark. It's by the same mangaka of Dorohedoro. I love Dorohedoro in terms of the Netflix show. I haven't read any of the manga yet. I have 1 volume you see over there, but Dark is very similar art style, very similar concept of really dark, gritty environment, but with like really fun-loving characters who are just kind of trying to get by in a messed up world. And that appealed to me a lot in terms of how Dorohedoro did it, and it's very similar vibes here, but sci-fi instead of fantasy. So I recommend it. Only 2 volumes out so far, but it's great. And then we have The Detective is Already Dead. This is kind of a notorious one. I watched the first episode and I liked it a lot, but the first episode was a bit of a bait. So I read the light novel instead, and it's pretty solid. It's just fun characters, fun little story. I will say the whole part where she's a detective doesn't really make a lot of sense, and she kind of tries to explain it away, but kind of comes off as more ridiculous than anything else. Spoiler alert, but I wouldn't really call her a detective personally. It's a solid book, though. And there's Dorohedoro. I only have volume 1 because it's sold out everywhere for the most part. on all the other volumes, and it's a pretty large series. I want to collect it and read all of it because who knows when we're ever going to get a season 2 of Netflix, but I love the first season of Dorohedoro on Netflix. It's fantastic, which prompted me to get Die Dark since, you know, it's ongoing, it's the newest thing, and I'm not disappointed. I think it's great so far. I'm really curious where the series ends. It's the Netflix one didn't really end on a cliffhanger. It felt like kind of the journey was just beginning, so I wonder how much of that was covered in how many volumes were in there. This is kind of overview of my first shelf. From this collection, obviously, I would recommend Attack on Titan, Berserk, Call Over the Night, all that stuff. This is shelf 2. We start with 86. I loved the first season so much, and it ended on such an infuriating cliffhanger that I wanted to read ahead and see what was going on. I've actually done that a couple times with things on here. I really love 86. It's just really grim, dark kind of Attack on Titan-esque story. And I say Attack on Titan-esque because it kind of has no holds barred. It's very dark, very grim. And I think if you have like family members or friends who like Attack on Titan but can't really get into any other anime, I'd highly recommend 86. And the book's really great. It's a bit overwritten for what it is, but it's kind of a trend for most light novels. And this is not a complete collection because I have the first volume of the Empty Box and the Zeroth Maria. I actually read all of it digitally and unfortunately discontinued everywhere, it feels like. But I love this book series. A couple of the books are not great quality in terms of just like the story, but I think the full seven novel series is probably one of my favorite, and I think it's the first complete light novel thing I read. I read it all in Book Locker. I highly recommend it if you like some really edgy, dark, supernatural content. No anime series for it yet, but I highly recommend it. And then I have the Faraway Paladin. So I actually got this from Barnes & Noble. They actually put it on shelves when it was all sold out and Right Stuff. And it's actually isekai. It's a really interesting one where, again, I don't really need to explain what isekai is. I'm sure most people know. Guy comes back, gets reincarnated from another world, except he doesn't really remember his past necessarily, or at least that past is not revealed to you. But he has this family of undead who kind of have this really complicated history that he's trying to protect him from. It's a really wholesome, nice isekai, though it's starting to get a little darker in terms of like fight scenes. You can see I'm starting to have some trouble with the bookshelf. It's a little overpacked, so I'll have to change that up. I do fix it later on, kind of, not a great way. Fire Punch, again, this is sold out everywhere, but I got the first volume of it. I really love Fire Punch. The first volume was really good, actually. It's probably one of the best first volumes I've read. I liked it way more than first volume of Chainsaw Man. I'm really excited to read more of it. A lot darker, a lot grittier. Guy being lit on fire. He has a power of internal healing. He's being hit by the fire of eternal burning, and so it kind of creates this rock in a hard place thing where they just battle each other, and so he's always on fire. It's super awesome. I really like it. I want to read more of it. Now, I actually moved this one. This is Garrison Girl, which is actually a novelization or a novel story in Attack on Titan universe, written by, I believe it's a Western author. So it really stuck out. It was really weird. I never heard of this before. I haven't read it yet. I'll probably wait till after Attack on Titan is done. You can see right there a little staple saying Attack on Titan. I'm actually surprised it's not bigger in terms of like the spine of the book where it says Attack on Titan, or even the back of the book, because I feel like that'd be a huge selling point why people would want to buy it, or maybe they're trying to appeal to people who maybe aren't interested in anime. I haven't read this one yet. But it sounds interesting. I'm curious to see if they can do, if the writer can do right by the Attack on Titan universe. But yeah, you can read the thing. Feel free to pause if you need to pause the video if you want to read any of the backs of any of this stuff. Let's see here. What's the next one? We got The Girl from the Other Side. Really small book, actually. I'm surprised, but gorgeous art, gorgeous cover, gorgeous art on the inside. The story kind of, I feel like I've read it before, where it's a supernatural. It's like the dad simulator of video games equivalent, where it's this supernatural monster raising this girl or this child that's rejected from the rest of society. I think it's okay. It's solid. I wasn't super interested in getting more of it, but it seems decent. I want to follow up on more on it in the future. We have the Melancholy of Haruhi Sumiya. I probably butchered that, but I really like this one. It was actually some of the best writing, and it's like extremely funny. It's some of the it's one of the best written light novels apart from like the Empty Box that I've read. So I actually got I'm really interested in checking more of it. I haven't seen the anime season by Kyoto, but it's really funny and it has some cool supernatural stuff, and it's really interesting concept. Feel free to read the back there, but I really like it. I'll have to check more of it out. And again, here's me struggling with it. And then Hell's Paradise. Hell's Paradise might be the best single volume of any manga I've read. It is so incredible, so much characterization, such incredible fight scenes, a really cool dark art style. It's so distinctive, so powerful, so original. I just can't wait to read more of Hell's Paradise. Unfortunately, it seems like everyone else is because it's sold out everywhere. But as soon as it becomes available in terms of like the earlier stuff, I'm gonna start buying all these up. This is where I realized I'm having too much problems, so I think I put it up somewhere above. So that'll be fixed, or temporary fix, so you don't see me as struggling as much with it. We have Goodnight Pun Pun. This is kind of the ones where when I was buying a bunch of manga, like right stuff, and I needed stuff to fill the cart. People kept talking about Goodnight Pun Pun. People keep saying how dark, disturbing, how real it is, how emotional it is. I didn't really get it from the first volume. Again, it's just the first, I think, Omnibus collection of Goodnight Pun Pun. I am interested in reading more of it, but it's not a priority right now. But it was an interesting art style. Kind of reminded me of Shinkai stuff, where it feels like it's drawn over like a picture or something. I don't know what the technical term for that is. And then I have the first three volumes, or the Phantom Blood series of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I love these hardbacks. I think they're gorgeous. They look really good on the shelves. I want to collect them. I'm already caught up with the show. I'm a huge fan of the show. I think part 4 is my favorite one. It's my favorite arc, but I love JoJo, so I really want to collect those. This is all my Kaguya-sama. It's not concurrent. I think there's like 20 plus volumes out right now. I just kind of got a bunch of box sets for it on Right Stuff when they're having a big sale on it, which they don't offer anymore, unfortunately. I love the show a lot. I read the first couple volumes of this. I think the show is a lot better. The anime is a lot better. The art doesn't pop as well in the manga, at least in the beginning volumes. It probably gets better later on. I think the stories, like the voice acting and just like the narrator's voice acting and the music, just adds so much. It's one of the first times like in a manga where I've watched the anime series where I'm like all the other pieces make it so much better. But I want to collect it to support the show. And then we have Knights of Sidonia. Actually got onto this because Blame was all sold out, which is by the same mangaka, and I really like the concept of it. I read this part on a digital, and I really liked it. I thought it was the art. I love his art. It's beautiful. I love just the whole vibe of it. Very, very like alien. It's just so far future. He has a really interesting way of doing like sci-fi stuff, and I'm really interested in reading more of it. I will say volume 2 of it wasn't as interesting, but I want to read more. Leave No Trace is kind of a generic military otaku fake World War II, World War I series. It's just okay. I am not any interest really in it to continue. Not any interest, but like very low interest. I'd rather read just about anything else on the shelf and to collect more of those volumes than read any more of this. I guess if you're into like the World War I, World War II stuff, go for it. I kind of got this because I was high off the 86 stuff, and all the 86 stuff is sold out, but it's not scratching the same itch at all. I'd rather read more on Attack on Titan. This is the first book of the Monogatari series, Baka Monogatari Part 1. I watched the anime. I find the anime really frustrating to watch with all the cuts and the text and everything because I pause and read it or ignore it, and I feel frustrated by it. So I figured, you know what, people say it's a really amazing light novel, so I think reading it might just be better because the anime is just too annoying. It just feels really pretentious, honestly. It has a little insight card, which is kind of rare for manga. So here's a close-up on that. And feel free to hit pause if you want to listen, or sorry, not listen, but to read more of it. Looking forward to reading this. I don't know. There's a lot of these books. I'll probably just buy the box sets whenever I get to them. And then we have Monster, again, another acclaimed one, another part of my initial buying spree, which is buying a ton of random garbage. Not that Monster's garbage is a pretty good first volume. I don't really necessarily see again, it's very early on, there's a bunch of these perfect editions, a bunch of volumes of these perfect editions, but I don't necessarily fully understand the appeal of it so far. I think it's really good, really solid, but I'm not like, drooling for more. I'm not stalking the shelves or looking everywhere I can for it. Mushoku Tensei, though, I think I'm current on the digital edition on Bookwalker. I love Mushoku Tensei. I think the anime series is probably my favorite, my anime of the year so far. It's such a wonderful, like, such an inspiring show. Just I think isekai is at its best when it takes, like, how do you take another chance at life? And I think Mushoku Tensei is incredible about it. We go into the third shelf, and you can see my Mushoku Tensei's continued on here. That annoys the shit out of me, but whatever. Here's an overview of everything's on the shelf. That is a Demon Souls art book and soundtrack CD. I bought it with the Demon Souls. I think it was a pre-order thing. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. I traded that, unfortunately. I don't know why. Got a Bloodborne card game box. I don't know. I thought it was cool. I played it once. I'm not a big board game person, but I love Bloodborne, so yeah, Mushoku Tensei continued on. I want to collect these again. I'm current on the digital app. I want physical copies, and I'll reread them once I get everything. I just love the series. I think it's fantastic. I highly recommend it if you're into light novels. And I think there's a manga, but I can't say anything about the manga. Quintessential Quintuplets. I pretty meh on the first season, but season 2 is incredible. First season's kind of meh, second season's incredible, so I want to read the manga, and I don't know when the third season's coming out or the ending so I'm trying to stay away from spoilers, so if I could get no spoilers in the comments, I'd really appreciate it. But I'm planning on buying all these, probably my next haul sometime next month. I plan on just buying everything and just binging all of it, because I feel like I'm almost getting spoiled or not quite getting spoiled, or I can't tell what's a spoiler and it's not a spoiler, so I just kind of want to read it all. But I love Quintessential Quintuplets, and the art is really good in it. Another anime series I love. Haven't read this one yet, but I just want to support the show because I love Rascal. I really want them to make it season 2, and I know there's some books actually after the movie, which I actually own the movie as well on Blu-ray. I love the show. It's fantastic. I wish there was a dub so I can like play it for people who and show like friends or family that may not be interested in like subs. But I think Bunny Girl Senpai is definitely one of the best up there, and I'm really interested in reading the book, and I want to support the show. So. And we have ReZero. Again, I want to support the show. Haven't read this one yet. I actually own a bunch of them on Bookwalker, but I haven't read any of them. I think I'd rather just read them physically at this point. I'm kind of cold on the whole ebook stuff. Bookwalker is fun when they're offering all the sales and everything, so I can get exposed to all this stuff, but I'd rather just buy the physical things. I'm more of a physical media person than a digital person for books. Games, I don't care. I don't really like collecting games, but I really like collecting books and stuff like that. And Shikimori is not just a cutie, Shikimori is not just a cutie. This is one that I don't see a lot of people talk about. It's a pretty fluffy, low impact rom-com. Kind of have this really cool character on the front. People call her like yandere vibes, but it's not really that. She has more masculine traits, while the male lead has more feminine traits. A lot more emotional, prone to accidents, has bad luck. Not alpha personality, which I don't really. I'm not an alpha personality either, so it's actually really appealing. It's a great series. It's not amazing, but I want to keep up with it. It's a lot of fun. Solo Leveling, it's the huge one. I love Solo Leveling. I read the first 100 chapters or whatever that was released at the time. I think season 1 of it is what it was called at the time on digital scans, because this is actually the first. It's not manga, obviously, because it's a Korean. I actually forget the term. I think it's manhwa, but this is the first like comic series I've ever read, and the first season is the first one I've ever completed. I think Solo Leveling is amazing. I love it. I don't know how they would ever do an anime of it because the art's so incredible. I know it's a light novel, and I do want to read those. That's where it's based off of. But gosh, Solo Leveling is just incredible. I highly recommend it. It's sold out, so good luck, but it's amazing. Spy Family. This is an amazing volume 1 as well. I'm really excited to read more of it. Again, it seems like everyone is because it's sold out everywhere, but I love Spy Family. It was such a heartwarming, nice story, and I'm really into really edgy shit, or I really like this is warm, fuzzy stuff. And Spy Family is just really warm and fuzzy. I love all 3 characters, their dynamics, how fun they are, how their relationships work with each other. And I highly recommend it. Hopefully we get more in stock because I just want to read the rest of it. I think there's 5 or 6 volumes out. Only have the first one, unfortunately. And we have The Witch and the Beast. This is probably my favorite series right now that I'm reading. I don't see a lot of people talking about this, but it's this really great dark horror, dark fairy tale kind of story. You can read the back of it for more, but I highly recommend it. It's just really gruesome, really disturbing, really interesting stuff. I will say there's not a lot of like characters or like not really in-depth characters so far, or an in-depth plot. It's pretty basic so far. There is a character who's trying to lift a witch's curse, and this is kind of their journey of doing that, but there's a lot of great twists, a lot of turns. One of the best verse volumes I've ever read, so feel free to please give it a read. I highly recommend. If anything from this video, please read The Witch and the Beast. It's amazing. But the art in the world just carries it so hard, and it's good enough for me, and the characters are hopefully will become more interesting later, but I love it so far. This is my design works collection of basically an art book and a bunch of interviews with key personnel from From Software. Dark Souls is one of my favorite series ever, and all the Souls games are, and FromSoft is one of my favorite developers ever, so I just kind of want to support these guys. I know there's a Sekiro manga, and I keep seeing it in Barnes & Noble, and I really want to buy it. There's Demon Souls, the art book, and the soundtrack CD. I still have the soundtrack. You can see the imprint there, but I think I lifted it up here. Yep. So you can see that bad boy in there. Demon Souls has a really underrated soundtrack, actually. It's great. I'm not a huge fan of Dark Souls the game. I think it's kind of the rough draft version of Dark Souls proper, but I think Demon Souls is okay. It's the only Souls game I have not finished. It's my Weathering With You poster. I got 2 of these. I got it for going to see the movie. I see that movie like 4 or 5 times in theaters. It's my favorite anime movie all the time. Highly recommended. These are a couple empty bookshelves. Sorry, they're dirty. I've been collecting dust because there's nothing on them, but it kind of shows I have a lot of room to grow as a collector. And you can see all the books here. This kind of overview. Again, I highly recommend Call of the Night. Classroom the Reed's a great novel, and Die Dark's really good. From this, 86 is really strong. Faraway Paladin might grow into something more interesting. Hell's Paradise is fantastic. JoJo's JoJo. Go read JoJo's. Or watch JoJo's. That works too. Mishko Tensei, incredible light novel series, highly recommended. Quintessential Quintuplets. I haven't finished it, but I really love it so far. Great art if you are just interested in the manga. Season 1's kind of rough to get through, but season 1's really hard to get through, but season 2 is really good. Highly recommend it. And Witch of the Beast is incredible. If anything from this video, please just go read Witch and the Beast. Again, I'll say that I'm going to stand it. No one's talking about it as far as I can see. Maybe I'm just not seeing the right videos or meeting the right creators. Please let me know if there's any cool people I should check out. And that is my collection. I kind of go over everything, zoom out here so you can see it. Again, only 3 shelves, have 2 more shelves left. And yeah, I'm really interested in continuing my collection. And lastly, I wanted to show you guys my Excel spreadsheet where I organize all my thoughts and everything about the manga that I'm reading and the priority levels of how I want to collect it. Manga is a really expensive hobby, and originally I wasn't going to make something like this, but I got really inspired by another YouTuber, a manga YouTuber named Manga Tama. She had a really incredible idea, which I at first scoffed at. I was like, why would I make Excel spreadsheets about collecting manga? That sounds so boring. But I actually really love the idea. It helped me a lot in organizing my thoughts on what I wanted to collect because, like I said, manga is really expensive. So you want to focus in on good stuff and the stuff you're really interested in. You can see in my collection, I had a bunch of 1-volume series, or not 1-volume series, but the first volume in a lot of series, or just starting a lot of things that I might not have a high interest in keeping up with. That's my bad. I kind of spread myself out too thin early on because I was just kind of on the spending spree early on because I got so excited about the concept and reading physical books again, because I got disenfranchised with like regular books for a long time because the stories weren't that interesting anymore to me. So reading something again, like having physical paper, was really exciting, so I got a little heavy-handed with that stuff. But the Excel spreadsheet's great. I'll link Manga Tama's video in the description, and hopefully there's a thumbnail somewhere if I can manage that somehow. But let's go over it. So it's not, I'm sure there's typos and I'm sure there's some editing problems here and there, but this is kind of the gist of it, where I have all the stuff I have collected so far, or I will be getting. There's some spoilers on here for stuff that I have not talked about yet. That will be in my collection video and my reading log videos going forward. So as you can see here, I have all the stuff that I talked about in that previous video, and I have in case there's a special, like, oh, I want a perfect edition or the hardcover omnibus edition of things. And I have these statuses, which are basically showing what my interest level in this stuff here is. I'll talk about that a little bit more. But this is all the stuff that I own. This is all the stuff that I don't own yet, or I'm potentially interested in acquiring. Again, we have these status codes. I'll talk about these more in depth later. Again, just to organize my thoughts about all this stuff, so I can make the best decisions for myself as possible. And then we kind of have a dissection of the terms. Again, there might be some misspellings and stuff, so sorry about that, but this is kind of drawn up for more my benefit than anyone else's. But I thought it was a cool thing to share. So maintain is kind of series. Again, it's all color coordinated, so we can go back and look at what that means. But maintain basically means these are series that are ongoing, which I've caught up on, and I'm invested in continuing to maintain, because obviously I bought a ton of it. So there's that. There's high priority, or HP, abbreviated to HP, which basically series which I have a high priority in purchasing and acquiring, regardless of sales or discounts. A lot of this is based off like how much it is monetarily. Like this, I'll buy it for almost any price, basically, as long as it's available, and as long as I'm not getting super destroyed on the price. Like some of the hardcover stuff is way cheaper on Right Stuff or Amazon than it is like in Barnes & Noble, so I'd rather just wait for the most part and getting on there, because a $10 to $15 difference is pretty significant on all this stuff. A lot of $5 differences between some of the larger collections of things. So, you know, again, it's really expensive, so trying to save money is always great. But high priority means I just really want it as soon as possible. Collecting, basically this is a series which I've consumed elsewhere, and I'm repurchasing either for the physical copies or for collection purposes, or to support the show, or the original content. So this is stuff where I'm kind of passively building up, and I have an interest in reading it, but it's not high priority. Obviously, I've already consumed the original material, or I've consumed it on digital, so I definitely will want to check this stuff out again when I can physically get it, because it's a lot more interesting to me as like a physical thing. But I just kind of want to support it and have my own physical collection for my own purposes. Luxury, typically these are series right above next step, which is low priority, which basically means typically series I'm only interested in purchasing if they're on a sale or a discount, or have low interest in other titles, or to fill out shipping orders. Like Right Stuff, you need, I believe, at least $75 to be able to get free shipping. So if there's nothing else I'm interested in, then I'll throw that in there. But most likely I'd rather check out a new series, generally, unless there's like a good sale, and then I'll get into it. Low priority just means I have very little interest in it. It's taking a back seat. Maybe there's these orders on things in terms of what titles I view as high priority versus low priority. So that might swap around later. Like maybe I'll check out one of those low priority series. I just get an itch for it. But for right now, at least, I have pretty low interest in it. It's pretty self-explanatory. Doesn't mean I've dropped it though, which is the red one, which I don't have any yet because I have so many. I don't have a lot so far, so and some of the series might become something that I drop later, but this is stuff that I need to sell off or donate, and basically unload off my collection just to make space. Space is premium. I live in a room, live in apartments. Maybe I can get bigger sized areas or smaller sized areas, so I need to make sure that while I want a comprehensive collection of the stuff I like, I keep it in the stuff I like or I'm interested in. Otherwise, I'm just wasting money, just wasting time, and just wasting space. And I have some goals to set out with, but we'll check that out last. So I kind of go over some of the stuff I view as high priority. I have Berserk, definitely want to check out that. Fire Punch, Haruhi Suzumiya, Hell's Paradise, Spy Family. These are kind of all the stuff I'm really interested in checking out. And then for maintain, we have Attack on Titan. So I'm caught up on the console editions of that. Call of the Night, Classroom of the Week, Die Dark, Faraway Paladin, and Solo Leveling. So for collection purposes, empty box is really expensive, unfortunately, because it's discontinued. So eBay has it like $200 for the complete set, or like $50+ for individual volumes. So I'm kind of just keeping an eye when I get good deals, probably around like $30. Like that'd be willing. I really love the series, so I want to collect it, but it's so expensive. It's not really that high priority for me. I just rather eventually, like next 5 years or something, I like to have a full collection. Make me really happy. Chainsaw Man, I've already read it. I want to collect it, read it again. It's a really great series. I think it's a bit overrated, but I really like it. So I like to have my own personal collection of it. And Quintessential Contemplates. This is, so you can see I have kind of like priority levels on this stuff. Like this is obviously, it's high priority, but only if I'm not spending too much on it. So it's like, keep an eye out. Like I'm checking eBay every couple weeks just to see where the status is and where this stuff finds up, or see if Amazon gets some secret stock on this stuff. Chainsaw Man, same thing. It's sold us out of stock everywhere. So as soon as I see it like Best Buy or something, I'm just gonna go run out and grab it. And then Quintessential Quintuplets. This is actually probably gonna change to high priority. My next haul will probably just be the whole series, because I just want to read it all. I started reading the first 4 volumes I think I have right now, and I forgot, like, the quality of the art versus the stuff in the first season of the manga makes it way easier to breeze through that story, and the story's really good. It just, you know, the animation the first season was great, but you don't have to worry about that in the manga. The art's really fantastic, so I'm breezing through it, really enjoying it, laughing out loud, even the stuff I already remember happening. So I really just want to read this one again. And then we can go to unowned stuff. There's a couple series on here, which again I'll talk about in a reading log in the future. Don't have any or in my collection video, so maybe this might be a slight spoiler for that, but it is what it is. Unowned, so these are series that I have some interest, or I've heard some decent things about. Again, this is like separated by low priority, high priority, collect, and everything. Kind of the stuff I'm on the lookout for. I really like rom-com stuff, like really light, fluffy stuff. So After the Rain sounds interesting. Again, I'm sure it has some darker or more interesting elements, but I like rom-coms a lot. Darling and Franks, I'm a huge fan of the show. I have a big hoodie, so I want to collect that. And I heard the manga publication of it's a bit spicy, which sounds interesting. The art of this looks incredible. I've seen it in Barnes & Noble a couple times. I looked through it and I'm like, man, this looks amazing. It has a great cover. I really want to collect these. I think there's 3 books by the same mangaka, so I'm really interested in that. Kakaguri, I really love the first season of the show. I think it's really solid, fun, edgy time, and I love either my like nice rom-com stuff or my really edgy, disturbing stuff. And so this kind of is on the other end of the spectrum of something like, I guess, After the Rain, maybe. That's what I've heard. My Boy sounds kind of interesting. It's kind of a weird subject, so I'll let you go look that one up, or wait until I eventually get it. I'm kind of interested in some weird stuff, weird rom-com stuff, because so many rom-coms just feel like they're the same thing, or so many drama things or drama shows or drama manga are like the same subjects but like told slightly differently from each other. But this one was significantly different to what I personally experienced, so I'm really interested in checking this out. The Your Lie in April one, I think there's a hardcover special edition, I think 2 volumes of it, like an omnibus thing, kind of like Berserk or something. And so I really want to collect this. I love the show. It's fantastic. It's probably the show that got me into rom-coms and the rom-com genre and manga. So like I probably wouldn't have like watched Quintessential Quintuplets if I didn't experience Your Lie in April. So I think it's fantastic. I guess you can say it's more of a drama, but there's a lot of like comedic elements too in there. Blame. I'd rather collect Blame than Knights of Sidonia at this point. The second volume, even though I'm still interested in eventually finishing the series, the story didn't really grab me, especially after volume 2. It kind of sunk down. Volume 1 was like pretty good. Volume 2 was like, I don't know. But maybe Blame's the same way, but I think the concept's a lot more interesting in Blame and a lot more inspired. Is it Blame or is it Blam? I don't know. You guys can correct me in the comments about that one. Let's see here. Oh, sorry, it's not Your Lie in April. It's a Silent Voice, which is getting the collector's edition. See, that's why I have this here. I'm not reading it. That's my bad. But it's still the same. Your Lie in April did get me into the genre. That's not untrue. I love the movie A Silent Voice, so I'm really excited for the collector's editions that will come out. So goals, these are kind of guiding goals, which are long-term or overall guiding principle goals. And then these are dreams. I don't have a lot of dreams yet, but we'll start with guiding goals. So complete the high priority stuff. So collect series, collect these series that are high priority, focus on those. Don't like buy random stuff. Try not to buy new stuff. I'm more interested. It makes me a lot happier. I've realized after collecting manga, at least the stuff that I have, I like seeing more of the same title, especially for series I like. I don't like seeing one volume, like random 1 volumes everywhere. That makes me not. Again, this is really materialistic and shallow, but the whole collecting thing is in general, so please don't judge me too harshly. But I really just like seeing completed series. I love seeing like all this stuff lined up and everything. I think it's really great. And so I kind of need to focus on the stuff that I like, since it is my collection. For your collection or someone else's collection you're reviewing, you have different goals, or they have different goals, but that's okay because it's theirs. This is mine, so that's how I'm viewing it. Focus on reading everything at least once before buying massive hauls. So because I'm starting a new job, I'm off on payroll, so I won't get a really good paycheck until like the 15th, or like basically the 15th of next month. So it's gonna be a pretty dry spell, so I don't think I'll have a problem. But I really just want to do one big haul of manga. I might get a couple of things from Barnes & Noble here and there, in case they have things that are out of stock online, like on Right Stuff, or any whim things. Like I wanted to check out new series and stuff. It's good for going to Barnes & Noble because you can open them up and like take a look and see what's going on in there. But I don't really, I kind of want to limit my spending, instead of getting like 6 packages or buying like 6 collections of things at a time. I'd rather just one big thing, read everything, and then have the next order ready to go. Try to avoid new series until you're finished and already invested in series. It's actually really expensive to maintain a series, especially stuff that's ongoing. Like I have wish lists by month on Right Stuff, and like I'm getting pretty close to the free shipping standard already on that stuff. The free shipping like price point of $75. So like stuff like, I don't know, let's look at actually my fancy Excel spreadsheet here. Like things like Classroom of the Elite, Die Dark, Call of the Night, the Faraway Paladin, So Lovely, like, and I feel like I have some other stuff on here. Maybe this isn't fully updated, but maybe it is. I don't know. It's been a while since, it's been a couple of days since I looked at this, or a couple of weeks actually. But this stuff is, they come out every couple of months, every 2 to 3 months. So especially when you're starting so many series, like imagine if I get caught up on a lot of this high priority stuff that may be still ongoing. Like Berserk, like they're still publishing deluxe editions of that. 86, I'm kind of waiting on out of stock copies of it. Fire Punch, I believe that's finished. Hell's Paradise, I believe, is finished as well. I think they just released a new Haruhi Suzumiya book, but I don't know if there's more to come on that stuff. Spy Family is ongoing and is out of stock, so it's kind of the worst of both worlds, kind of same as Chainsaw Man. So it's kind of, not only is manga expensive, but if you're keeping up with current series, it's really expensive. If you're like current with like 5 series, and then every 3 months or every other month or something, you're buying like five to 6 books, it gets pretty costly. So I just need to maintain the stuff that I'm really interested in and keep up on it, then go to high priority and kind of collect those series, and then we'll figure out things after that. Obviously I want to read new series. There's a lot of cool stuff out there, as you can see from my unowned page. There's a lot of stuff I'm interested in. But I need to focus on the stuff that I really like and really want to finish first. So rereading is really important about that. If it's a story I really like and I'm putting a lot of money into it, I should be able to enjoy it multiple times. Again, only use, another step, only use in-store, physical store like Barnes & Noble. That's a pretty redundant sentence, but whatever. For whim purchases or for discovering new series, because I can have it in my hand, I can take a look at it. So it's better than looking up scans online, in my opinion, just to have the kind of in my hands and kind of reviewing it, flipping through the pages idly without really getting too deep into the story. See if it's something I am interested in. My current idea is I really want to buy like first volumes of things on Barnes & Noble more than on Right Stuff, because Right Stuff I probably won't have any, with all the manga that I'm interested in collecting or maintaining. I don't think I'll have any problems filling out the $75 order stuff, and so Barnes & Noble will be used mostly for like whim purchases or discovering new series, where it's like, oh, I'm gonna try out this first series of something, this first volume of something that seems interesting. I'll get it at Barnes & Noble if they have it, read it, and then I'll buy like my mass buy a ton of them on Right Stuff because it's cheaper, because they have better prices. And as you can see, retailer preferences, I prefer Right Stuff because they're a dedicated service and I want to support them and not only are they a dedicated service, they offer probably the best pricing on most things. Amazon has better in certain areas, but Right Stuff is generally a lot better in terms of pricing and consistency of stuff. Barnes & Noble online, I'd rather support Barnes & Noble than Amazon because Amazon is, Amazon, and I'd rather support like a dedicated realtor other than Amazon, who kind of has their foot in everything. And then other, like eBay, stuff like that, it's kind of the lowest priority because who can tell about quality control and that stuff, whether you get the right thing, whatever. And a couple of dreams. I don't have a lot of these filled out so far, but I want to collect all the card captors hardcover editions, because card captors was a series I grew up with as a kid, so I have a lot of fondness for it. It may not hold up great, but I just want to collect it for my own purposes. And the Pokemon Adventures omnibuses, I actually read these comics growing up. I thought it was amazing, way better than the anime and better than the games. I really enjoyed it. Again, comics are really expensive, especially when you're young, and nowadays I'm really interested in collecting them. Again, these are dreams, and so there's no time frame or period or expectation on this stuff. You don't even see it really on my unknown section here, but I'm really excited to check out more of this stuff because they're so important to my childhood and such. Yeah, so that is my manga collection video, so thank you so much for watching. Sorry I was kind of weird and stilted, unscripted, kind of going off the cuff a little bit here. It's my first video, so feel free to give me tips, pointers, if you have anything to give me at all, any comments. Let me know if there's any series you're interested in checking out. I'm doing this stuff. I'm doing videos like this because I want to get involved with the community, and I want to kind of, almost like video log my hobby. I'm already going to buy all this stuff and read it, so maybe I can share my ideas and my thoughts with other people. I'm not really interested in becoming like a huge voice in the scene, obviously, and that's not an expectation. I just want to meet other people who are interested in the same stuff that I am and have dialogues with them, because I think things like hobbies and collections and stuff are better when they're shared with others. So again, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to leave a comment. Let me know what's going on. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you all later. Have a great day.